2, 1. Welcome to the David the Dog Trainer podcast, episode 55. We're in the new year. We're back. We had to take a week or so off here. I developed the Rona. I got the Rona.
The Rona virus.
But I'm back at it. Here we are. Josh, what's been new in the last week or so?
Oh. Man, I don't know where to begin.
I know. I feel like I do feel a little, like I feel like I, like the talk, like, you know, I've been working and stuff, so like my talking is up to par, I feel like. Mm-hmm. But I feel a little disconnected from the podcast.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think the timing of it was like the day before we were supposed to record, you know, so it'd been a week already. Mm-hmm. So now it's been 2.5 weeks technically, I think, since we've actually met up. So yeah, and then we kept trying to reschedule, but then a blizzard happened. Yeah, dude. And then the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, I forgot the blizzard. That was what threw it off last time. Because dude, we were trapped. Like our driveway there was no getting in. You would have had to take a helicopter and like airdrop through our chimney to get into the house.
Yeah. What do they call the winter storm?
I don't know.
Joe.
We're naming storms now.
Yeah, that they named it.
All right.
Yeah,
well, I don't know about that.
But let's see. Wednesday, I've been doing some non-food stuff. I took some headshots for my friend. She's a realtor. She just kind of separated from her, I guess, group. I guess that's what they're called, right? Realtor
property
groups?
Group,
property
something
manager
like
group,
that.
Whatever. But yeah, but she's going on her own this year. So
very cool.
Yeah, we went to the art museum, took some headshots over there, and they're like, you know, that big glass atrium, like lounge area. Yeah, and then. Yeah, I mean, those turned out great. It was really fun to do something different, you know? Mm-hmm. And hopefully I can do some more of that in the future. But
slick.
Yeah, it was fun. Otherwise, just plugging away on trying to get my business stuff in order for the taxes. Still waiting on a couple of 1099s. That's fun. But otherwise, everything's been pretty good. How about you? Good. Besides the virus.
Dude, I fucking hounded motherfuckers for those W-9s that I had to get from them. Yeah. You know, like, because we did a bunch of work on the facility and stuff this year, so I probably had like 15 different W-9s I needed to get from people. And like, obviously that's not the most important thing on everybody's radar usually is getting those back to me. So I was the most annoying motherfucker ever. I was texting and emailing and calling like every day.
Yeah.
All those bitches back in a week, I think.
Yeah. Dude, I know. I have one left. I'm like, if it's not here like by like Monday or Tuesday, I want to get these taxes so I can
get them motherfuckers. Get them.
Yeah. I want to know how much I owe the government.
Yeah, right. Rough times.
Yeah.
You know what the other crazy thing is? Like, obviously, like, you know, like you'll start seeing, like, you're going to start paying, like, quarterly estimates and stuff like that. And as your profits start going up and you start realizing, like, every quarter, like, it's not the end of the year anymore. It's like every quarter you have to account for, like, oh, like, you have to pay X amount of money. You have to pay X amount of money. You have to pay X amount of money. That's the most, like, nerve-wracking thing, especially since we had, like, a really good year last year. Like, I'm, like, looking at those quarterly estimates. I'm like, motherfucker. So
yeah, so how's it? Okay, so they're estimates. Right?
Yeah, so basically, if you profited whatever $100,000 last year or whatever it may be, the taxes you typically would pay on that. So whether it's $25,000 or whatever it may be, is broken up into quarterly estimates. So you pay them over the course of the year as opposed to paying it as one lump sum at the end of the year.
Yeah,
and then anything you profited past that estimated amount, then you pay that. At the end of the year, right?
But
what if it's less,
I was gonna say
and you wound up overpaying, which obviously you don't want to do that.
Yeah,
right.
Well, it's not
then
overpay.
you get a refund back.
Yeah,
right. But your goal as a business owner is to not get a fucking refund.
Yeah, but what is it? Is it if you make like over 1,000, you're supposed to be like per quarter or whatever that you're supposed to do quarterly?
It's whatever you make. So your first year, you don't pay the estimates because you don't have anything to estimate off of, obviously. But after that, regardless of what it is,
you got to
even if it's $20 every quarter, even if you only made $5,000, right, and you pay $100 at the end of the year, you're still going to pay those quarterly estimates.
Okay, so this will be my first year that I have to do that. So, oh boy, I'm so excited.
So it's really actually if anything. anything, it's like it's a good thing, you know, obviously, like as you start paying them and stuff, but it's just like an additional expense you have to be prepared for. And if your income varies like throughout the year, where it's not super steady, where it's like you consistently profit X amount per month, you know, and it's more variable, where it's like maybe midway through the year you get a bunch of money, but like the first half of the year it's like a little bit slower and stuff.
Yeah.
It could be a little bit stressful, you know, accommodating for, you know, like, well, I don't have that yet, you know, but I still need to pay that estimate, you know, because they have due dates on them and stuff. Yeah. So,
well, and I feel like that if you're keeping up with everything, you could probably be pretty accurate with it, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
I do have a dog question for you.
You got a dog question?
Yeah. But if you're on and go to something else first.
No. Well, ask away. Also, by the way, your boy Kevin, crushed it.
Yeah, I know.
Crushed it.
I know. We helped them. They just moved into their new house in Cuyahoga Falls, and they kept them separate just because like we were moving some stuff. But he was saying, man, he's like, it's so much nicer. Like they had his wife's like sister and kids over, and they were on the couch, and he was just staying in the bedstay the whole time. And before, like you couldn't have people like come into their house without him just freaking out. Yeah. So I mean, they were just fucking loving it.
That was a transformation for sure. Obviously Seamus did his training and did his send home lesson and stuff. I was getting into the facility as he was leaving from his send home lesson. I was like, oh hey guys. I was like, how'd it go? And they're like, oh my god, he did so good. And then when we posted the before and after video, they commented on the video on Instagram, and I was like, hey, hope everything's been going well, you know, in your first week back home and stuff. And they were like, he's doing incredible, this, that. So that was really, really cool to see. Yeah. And also, quick, like proud business owner moment. Like, dude, like the team continuing to crush it with difficult cases, you know? Yeah. I know, especially with the vlog and stuff like that, like I've been showing my face a lot more on camera and discussing concepts and stuff like that. But like, I'm still not the one that's working with most of these dogs. You know what I mean? Like I help with a lot of them and stuff like that, but and I'll help give pointers, and you know, we would brainstorm and troubleshoot stuff together and everything. But like the team is the one that's doing this fucking work. Yeah. You know, and they're fucking killing it. It's cool to see, especially like I said, in situations with like more difficult dogs like that. Like when you get into like that smaller percentage of like really challenging dogs that have a potential of being dangerous, you know, stuff like that. And knowing we have competent people at the facility to be able to work through those things. It's sweet.
Yeah, and I mean they had nothing but like praise to say for Seamus. You know, like he was, anytime they had any kind of question or concern, he's literally like emails them back within the hour, you know? So
for sure.
Yeah, you're killing it, buddy.
Good work. All right, what's your dog question?
Okay. All right, so this is for Bender. Uh-oh. Yeah, this is a personal doggo question.
Doggo.
So, I think it'd be. I just wanted to bring it up because I feel like it's probably good for a lot of people that have like good dogs, but like sometimes they have some attitude, you know.
Little tude,
yeah. Because, like, so his one bad thing that he does is if he finds a napkin or a dryer sheet, he just rips it up, just little pieces everywhere.
Shred it up.
Yeah, shreds it. Doesn't eat it, just shreds it, and then just is like leaves it there. But if you find it, you know, and you're like, what is this? You know, like, no, whatever. But he just like gets, you know, he kind of gets down and he starts doing the growling thing, like like he knows he's in trouble. He would never bite or anything like that. But
is this while he has it or after the fact?
After. If you're just like, what is that? And he looks at it and he's and he knows immediately that he fucked up. And he just gets like,
nervous growls.
Yeah, the nervous growls, the little hackles up, you know, like then he comes up to you and like, no, you know, he doesn't do anything bad, but it's just like really annoying, like, and I mean to other people that would be like scary or whatever, but like what would you do to like get through that to make him stop being a bitch, basically?
Okay, so there's two things here, right? So
Yep.
you're looking at the issue of the after the fact stuff. I'm looking at the issue of the behavior he's doing in the first place.
Yeah.
Right. So he's getting the dryer sheets, right? He's getting into pieces of paper, scraps, this, that, right?
Yeah.
Now listen. Our dogs are not perfect. They from time to time get into shit. Fucking Waffles likes to go, and every now and then he'll take a little bite out of the dirt in our fucking plant, right? Like just like dumb shit like that, right? There's all sorts of miscellaneous little things, right? But when I'm looking at solving those problems, what I want to do is I want to simulate and set it up as much as I can so that issue goes away, so I don't run into the situation where I have to try to post discipline. Because here's the thing.
Yeah.
Then looking at the other problem you're having and where some of that call it the stress growls or whatever you want to call it, where it's he knows he's in trouble.
Yeah.
But frankly, he has no clue what he's in trouble for, which is where that stress and that discomfort and stuff like that is coming for. Because if he knew what he was getting in trouble for, he would then stop doing the freaking behavior. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So we get frustrated sometimes when it's we see the dogs did something and it's too late to correct for it, but we're still pissed off and we're what the fuck did you do? Why would you do that, right? And we just create all of this emotion and energy in the moment. And if we have a dog like that, or if I try to do that with Vinny or something like that, same deal. They would get really uncomfortable and then just be like, the fuck, dude? Stop it. Is kind of how I interpret that. You know what I mean? Where, like you're saying, he's not going to bite you. He has no interest in doing that.
Yeah.
It literally is just a weird stress quirk that they show.
Yep.
Because in the moment, they're frustrated, they're confused, they're getting in trouble for something they don't know what they're getting in trouble for. We talk about anxiety or fear aggression and all of those things. And what really is what's causing it is the fear of the unknown, right? That's what anxiety is a dog that fears what they don't understand. And in that moment, because he doesn't understand, you're tapping into this kind of fight or flight mentality of I don't know what's going on, but there's a lot of negative energy being projected towards me right now. And I'm feeling I should kind of get a little defensive over it.
Yeah.
You know? So I would be looking at solving the actual problem and simulating that and setting that up as best as you can. And then in addition to that, obviously, in those after the fact moments, and listen, I get it, right? There's times, same deal. I catch my dogs do something after the fact and it's oh, you motherfucker, you know?
Yeah.
But there's nothing you could do about it, right? And you got to just live to fight another day with it.
Gotcha.
You
okay.
know?
Yeah.
But set those things up. I'm a big proponent of if I'm noticing a consistent issue like that, that's something that's happening out of my sight all the time. Man, do I try to really nip that in the bud as best as I can by start practicing. I see people talk about this a lot with food, dogs that steal food and stuff. Once a day or twice a day, go in your kitchen, grab something you don't really care about that's food, and just throw it on the ground and wait for your dog to go for it and correct him for it. Yeah. Actually, talking about TikTok, right? We got an interesting question on TikTok the other day, right, from somebody, and she has a daughter, right? It sounds like a daughter that sits in a high chair and eats and whatever, you know. And the daughter dropped a piece of food on the ground because that's what kids do. They're typically messy eaters. You know? Both of her dogs went for the food, and it triggered a really big dog fight, right? And one of the dogs was little, one was a little bit bigger, one of them got injured from the dog fight, this, that. Wow. And she was like, what do I do, right? And I was like, the problem is not the fighting necessarily, right? Obviously, that's the symptom of what the problem is. We don't want the dogs to be fighting with each other. But the problem is this lack of impulse control of why do your dogs feel if a piece of food falls on the ground, both of them should just go and charge for that food. Yeah. That's going to result in the dog fight. You know what I mean? Yep. So I told her, I was like, you need to get e-collars for these dogs. And listen, when I get into these TikTok comments and stuff like that, where it's you know, these are people from other states. These are people that aren't going to be doing any training with us and this and that. Yeah. I don't look at that as oh, well, you should do it the proper way and go sign up for a training program and this and that. No, this lady needs to find relief right now for this. Yeah. You know what I mean? She needs to make sure these dogs don't hurt each other, or her daughter is not in a position where she's going to get injured getting stuck in the middle of something like that. We need to get some control of this situation, right? That's the way I look at these situations, not oh, what's going to be the most fair on the dogs. It's how are we going to solve this problem now? Yeah. Right? So when I look at something like that, I told her, I was like, you need to get e-collars for both of the dogs immediately, right away. I was like, and you need to start every day simulating that exact situation where you drop a piece of food on the ground, and if any of those dogs go for it, they're getting corrected for it, and they're getting high corrections for it, so they realize that is not yours. I don't care what's falling on the ground. Unless I give it to you, it is not yours. And what you do is you shift that mentality where they're like, whoa, mom means business right now.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about you. You're not worried about me, because ultimately there's some rules right now, and we start to become that ultimate position of authority over the dogs where the fighting doesn't happen anymore. Right? So you have to set these scenarios up to work through it, though, because the more it happens randomly, the more it's like just like once in a blue moon when the daughter drops something on the ground, or once in a blue moon when Bender finds something that he's not supposed to have, or whatever it may be. You're never going to be as effective in correcting it and like getting through like their fucking head with it, you know? You have to have it happen many times in a short period of time so they could truly learn from it.
True.
So that's what I look at when I look at stuff like this.
Yeah. I mean, that makes 100%.
Yeah.
Like, I understand that completely. Yeah, because, you know, it's always like, oh, he just finds it, you know, or takes it somewhere in a little other room and just pulls it apart. Yeah. And then, by the time I just come in and I was like, God damn it, now it's like everywhere you got to clean it up. Yeah.
You know, then you also get into, and this is something, again, we've run into with, because we, I would say, made a mistake in the last like month or so with like Waffles in particular, where it's like we kind of let him be like a part of the pack, and like same deal, like if I'm up here doing something, or if we're in the like kind of the bedroom wing of the house or whatever you want to call it, right, we'll leave the dogs in the immediate living room, and like every now and then, same deal, we'll come in there and it's like one of them fucking did something, you know, like same deal, like I said, took a munch out of the plant, or they're not allowed on like the couch anymore or anything like that, right? And we'll notice we'll come in and it's like the pillows are kind of knocked off the couch or something like that, right? Yeah. And it's like, because we kind of jumped the gun on giving him too much freedom with things, we missed a lot of opportunities to continue enforcing and addressing those rules, right? So we've kind of been dialing it back, frankly, with all of them, because we've kind of noticed all of them because we've been giving them a lot of freedom lately. Here and there, little things. Yep. You know?
Pushing a little bit, huh?
Exactly. So we're kind of now trying to set things up a little bit more so we could start addressing some of those little nuanced behaviors. So.
Yeah. And I never really thought about it like as, you know, like us correcting, like giving him that negative feedback like afterwards. And yeah, you're right. Like he's just
they don't
oblivious.
They don't know what it's for.
Yeah, in that moment. He's just like, what the heck? Like he knows, oh, there's shredded stuff there. Oh boy.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Now I feel bad. It's like I'm sorry I confused you, but you're an asshole.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. So we are going to get into the meat and potatoes of today's episode here. Right. So obviously, since we got this TV, we've been doing some review-related things. We've been talking about different videos and stuff because we have the ability to now watch and stream them, which is very exciting. So we've been getting requests. Our YouTube page has been popping lately. We've been posting a lot of content on there. Hope everybody's enjoyed the vlogs, the videos, the clips, all that kind of stuff, obviously. So we actually got multiple requests on YouTube after our last review video we did of people wanting us to review Upstate Canine Academy. So I have the page pulled up here. We're going to get through, typically if I'm reviewing stuff like this, what I like to do is I like to just go through like what their most popular videos are, obviously, as opposed to going through and trying to pick them out myself. I want to kind of review and see like what are the things that got these people the most popular, obviously. And especially when you look at somebody like Tom Davis, like I've known Tom Davis for a little bit now. And, you know, I'm pretty familiar with his training style. I have a trainer that worked for me for a little bit that used to work with him, or work for him, I should say. So I'm very familiar with their style, and I do have some opinions on his stuff, but we're going to try to make this as unbiased of a video as possible and just review the actual content that we're looking at on the page. But, you know, Tom has, almost 500,000 subs on YouTube. Like, he's really made a pretty good name for himself over the last couple of years, particularly on social media. Yeah. And, you know, some of my other colleagues that I have that are, you know, I would consider popular dog trainers, or I should say very competent dog trainers, people that have kind of been veterans in the industry for quite a while, really know what they're doing, stuff like that. You know, I think the consensus is pretty clear that, you know, past just dog training, Tom is a freaking social media wizard, right? Like the dude, like you look at his Instagram page, you look at his YouTube page, the content is extremely high quality, right? The videos he takes look really nice. The edits that he does for his Instagram and his TikTok and all those things look really nice, you know? And a lot of the reason why I want to do these review videos is not to go in and necessarily just like bash people and like be like, oh, you're so horrible or this or that. But like we talked about when we were doing the Zach George video, which is similarly a very popular YouTube dog trainer, obviously, but just in a different kind of camp of dog training. He's in like the positive only camp, where Tom Davis is in more of the balanced dog training community. I think when you get into people that have this level of popularity, there has to be somebody that goes in and helps you weed out some of the bullshit in it, right? Because here's the thing. He got this popular for a reason, right? The problem is that reason isn't always that you're a really good dog trainer, right? Sometimes that reason is you just understand social media well enough or at a high enough caliber where you could hack the system enough to get clickbaity videos, to make sure that the content that you put out looks visually appealing. And again, a lot of the newer trainers right now that are coming up and getting really popular on, say, TikTok and stuff like that, my biggest issue with them is exactly that, right? They're creating content that is with the intention of entertaining you as opposed to educating you. Right? So what we're going to do is we're going to get into some of these videos and stuff here. So I have his page pulled up. We're going to go into sort by, and we're going to go to most popular. Now, I will say I have watched a couple of this guy's videos before, but I have not really watched any of them completely through, fully through, anything like that. The only thing that has kind of been a little bit of like a laughing matter to me and some of our colleagues when we look at these videos is just the titles of all of them. So let's start with all these popular videos, right? We have aggressive German Shepherd attacks trainer during aggressive behavior training. A lot of aggressive in that title. Next one, aggressive German Shepherd tries to attack me, in parentheses, seriously. Just so you know, it's serious. He seriously does. Next one. How to stop dog anxiety, aggression, pulling on the leash. German Shepherd training full tutorial. Next one. Giant aggressive Mastiff goes after everything. Parentheses. I'm his last chance. Like it just goes through. She tried to attack me. Parentheses. Aggressive dog training. Next one. Aggressive German Shepherd training. What not to do. Et cetera, et cetera. Every single one of these, right, is aggressive dog this. Aggressive dog tries to attack me. Aggressive dog violently attacks me. Parentheses. Seriously.
Seriously.
You know what I mean? So, like, looking at this right off the rip here, right? Again, I'm not so against clickbaity titles for certain things and stuff like that, but clearly Tom Davis uses virtually the same title for all of his videos for a reason, right? He's not an idiot, right? Clearly, he's found that this combination of words in a title, and almost every single one of these is in like all capital letters, helps somehow with the algorithm of getting it in people's faces. And here's the thing, right? From an entertainment standpoint, when I think, oh my God, a dog's attacking a trainer, a dog's attacking people, that, right? I look at stuff like that and I'm like, oh yeah, of course people would want to watch that, right? Whenever we get aggressive dogs in, it's the same deal, right? Like we do post videos of them so people can actually see. Now, here's my problem with this though, right? From a dog trainer standpoint, forget a entertainer, forget a content creator, whatever it may be, right? From a dog trainer standpoint, there is a serious, serious problem with people mislabeling dogs out there, right? Now, most of these, as you've read, German Shepherd, German Shepherd, German Shepherd, Dutch Shepherd, German Shepherd, German Shepherd, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like almost all of these are German Shepherds, right? And there's a reason for that, right? I talk about this all the time. I just booked a lady yesterday for a 5-week behavioral modification board and train for a German Shepherd. And before she even had a chance to tell me the issues that she was having, I was able to literally explain the issues she was having to her. And she's like, yeah, that's exactly what's going on.
That's my dog.
And there's a reason for that, because I'm not saying these dogs aren't aggressive. Like, we're going to watch some of these videos and we're probably going to see some aggressive dogs, right?
Yeah.
But when I look at aggression, right, I look at a neurological disorder that dogs have that's causing them to want to seriously do harm on somebody or something.
Yep.
Right? When we deal with German Shepherds, they are by nature territorial and defensive and dominant and push people around, and they make loud, scary noises, and they look 10x worse than they are in most cases, right?
Oh, yeah.
Again, I'm not saying these dogs are not going to be aggressive when we go to watch it.
Yeah.
But by mislabeling all these things, these dogs are trying to attack us. These dogs are trying to maul us. These dogs are, seriously out of control, this, that. What winds up happening is we immediately paint the dog in such a negative light where we have a hard time finding how do we get past this problem, right? And then further past that, let's say some of these dogs in these videos are not actually super aggressive, right?
Yeah.
They're reactive, they're assholes, right? But they're not trying to actually kill you, right? Then you have this beautiful before and after of look at this seriously aggressive dog and look at how great he is right now with things, right? The problem is then people that do have seriously aggressive dogs are going to have a false expectation in their head as far as what's really capable with them. Yeah. We know as trainers, aggression, because it is a neurological disorder, at heart, is not a normal behavior for dogs to exhibit. We know there's no quote-unquote fixing it. Right? You learn how to manage this stuff 10x better, right? And you could understand the dog more deeply and understand what they're doing more deeply so that you could help make sure everybody stays safe when they're involved in these types of situations, but you do not go in and fix it, right? Past just that, right? Because German Shepherds are these defensive, territorial dogs that, especially when they're bred well, right? I saw like 2 minutes of this first video, and I could tell that that is a well-bred, confident, dominant German Shepherd dog, right? My problem is when you bring them into training, you could do all of this stuff to exploit that aggressive behavior out of them, but it's what they're wired to do. You know what I mean? Like if you were to, I use Vinny as an example all the time for this kind of stuff. And Michelle, our one trainer, she uses Lumos as an example of this, her Dutch Shepherd, right? They're not necessarily aggressive dogs, but because of their genetic makeup, because of what they're designed to do, because they are confident and they are dominant dogs, if Joe Schmo, dog trainer, who doesn't fucking know them, tries to come in like Mr. Hotshot and just tell them what to do and stuff like that, there's going to be a fucking problem.
Yeah.
Right? But you were petting Vinny for 45 minutes before we started this podcast.
Pretty much, yeah.
Anybody that comes over the house, Vinny wants nothing but love and attention from you. But if you try to push his buttons around, he's going to tell you that he doesn't like that. Right?
Yeah.
And depending on the size of the dog, depending on the genetic makeup of the dog, depending on how confident that dog is, it's going to either look really, really scary or it's going to be not that big of a deal.
Yep.
Right? So again, we're getting into kind of exploiting some of these cases of things that these dogs typically do. You know what I mean? Like when I look at Murphy is a good example. We talk about his video a lot because he was a really good example of a quote unquote aggressive German Shepherd, right? That we had a really great before and after with. But I was very open with people about Murphy didn't want to really hurt everybody. He was terrified, right?
Yep.
And because he was a big ass German Shepherd, looked really scary. But he was just scared. He wasn't trying to rip my arm off. If he didn't have a muzzle on, would he have bit me? Yes, right? But would he have pursued and like I'd have bites all over me and this and that? Probably not, unless I continued to push the boundaries with him.
Yep.
Right? So whatever. This is my first just kind of looking at a page like this. This is kind of the first thing that pops in my head when I see this kind of stuff. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start with this video. We're going to talk about it. This one is Aggressive German Shepherd attacks trainer during aggressive behavior training. That's a mouthful, I'll tell you that.
It is.
So let's pop this up.
This is Monday.com CRM, a CRM you'll actually want to use. Capture and collect all.
Think that if your dog doesn't sit.
All right, here we go. Let me pause this real quick. Let me come over here. Get us a little volume on this. All right.
Leave it. Leave it. Put the head on already. I know it. Leave it.
So right off the again, and this is another formula for YouTube videos here. Take the worst part of the clip, pop it right at the beginning to grab the attack. Again, this is where give credit where credit's due. Dude makes good videos.
Yep.
Forget training. Videos are good.
Mm-hmm.
Good, nice little intro. America's Canine Educator.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the coolest.
You gotta start the video with a lot of. Start with this is the freaking coolest dog training show ever. We're gonna get started. My name's Tom Davis.
Right here on YouTube. I'm Tom Davis, America's Canine Educator. Thank you guys so very much for joining me today. One of the worst cases of dominance I've ever seen. Now, dominance in the dog world is something that probably gets thrown around way too much. Way too much. A lot of people don't have any idea what it is.
What is it?
People think that if your dog doesn't sit, they're dominant, or if they don't come, they're dominant.
I don't think anybody says that.
Necessarily.
They usually say they're stubborn if they don't sit her down. Not dominant. That's a little different.
Dominant dog is a dog that will actually have a problem with you telling them what to do, even if they know what you want them to do. So getting them off the couch, putting them into a crate, and them coming after you, redirecting, and completely fighting with you during that time. Now this dog, I want to be extremely clear with you guys because I don't want this video to come off the wrong way. This dog is completely fine all the time unless you tell it what it can and can't do. So in this session, you'll see me break down the entire process of what I would do in a situation like this, and really some of the ideas that you guys can take from this is how I approach it and how we started to adapt as the dog started changing in behavior.
Okay, so let me define what I think dominance is, right?
Okay.
So yes, it has to do with telling them what to do and them not necessarily wanting to do it, right? But I always talk about, like, if your dog is not listening to you, typically speaking, it's always going to be one of two things. It's going to be a clarity issue or it's going to be a motivation issue, right? The dog is not going to either be clear, right, with what is expected of them, or they're not going to be motivated enough in order to do it, right? What I think a dominant dog is a dog when both of those things are aligned and the dog is clear with what's expected of them and the dog is motivated by whatever it is that you're providing, they still choose not to do it, right?
Yep.
They have a very, very strong fight drive to them, right? So when presented with a motivation that they may actually really not like they want to avoid the consequence, right?
Yeah.
They want to avoid whatever pressure you're putting on them to try to get them to do something. Their fight drive is stronger than their flight drive. So instead of instead of backing down and altering their behavior and becoming compliant, they push back on the motivation, right? So their result of trying to escape motivation is not flight, it's fight.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what I see dominance as with dogs. Now, to also be clear, dominance does not always equate to aggression, right? And I don't think he's necessarily saying that here, obviously.
Yeah.
But dominance simply could be the dog that pushes back on you and realizes they can kind of, bully you around, or they can avoid these pressures by getting you to do things instead. And essentially they're in this position of social hierarchy where they think that they're above you.
Yeah.
So we had to bring a catch pole out, which we haven't had to do in a long time. The catch pole is to ensure safety. Basically what I did with this thing is it's a long pole that you put a slip on to make sure the dog can't bite you. Yes, the dog had a muzzle on, but in order to really, really solve this case, or at least really crack down on it, I had to basically use the catch pole to keep me safe, because as the dog actively came after me, if I use the leash, he's gonna hit me. And if he hits me, my body's gonna react, which is making him win. So in this video, you're gonna see probably 15-minute battle of the dog ferociously growling at me, lunging at me, coming after me. And what I'm doing with this catch pole is I'm just holding him there. And I'm just sitting there so he can't get to me. So it eliminates the reactivity that he normally gets, and what he's basically taught every human around him is if you try to get him to do something he doesn't want to do, he's gonna lunge and growl at you. So I battled him until he gave up. It isn't an alpha thing, it isn't a dominant thing. I just had to explain to him, you know what, dude, from now on, when you do...
Well, if dominance is the dog thinking that they are in a higher position than you, then yes, you winning in this situation kind of is a dominance thing, right? The only way to get past dominance issues with a dog is to show them that ultimately you are still more dominant than they are, right? Also, here's the problem with catch poles, right? We have a catch pole at the facility, right? And we have used it on maybe one occasion that I can think of. Right. And listen, we get freaking dominant, alpha, this, that, dogs and all the time and stuff like that. The problem with a catch pole is it makes everything 10 times worse because listen, leashes are restrictive. We talk about that. We talk about the fact that a leash can amplify a dog's behavior because, again, it taps into fight or flight, and they have much less of an ability of flight when they're on a leash, obviously. But at least they can move a little bit. At least they have a 4 to 6 foot radius that they can kind of move around within and stuff like that. On a catch pole, they are stuck literally in one spot. You hold that catch pole like this, they cannot move. They try to go back, they're stuck. They try to go forward, they're stuck. They go to the side, they're stuck. They go to the other side, they're stuck. And again, when you're dealing with dogs that already have a stronger fight drive than a flight drive, if you completely eliminate that flight drive, again, it makes everything look 10 times worse.
This crazy behavior and aggressive behavior, you're not gonna win. And so that's what this video is. I hope you guys like it. I hope it's informative. I hope you guys learned something from this. I certainly did moving forward. And I believe that this is a true test for this dog. And as you see at the end, he's totally environmentally changing, which means he's cool, 100%. He could be growling and...
Wait, what? He's totally environmentally changing, which means that he's cool, he's 100%.
Lunging at me and freaking out. 2 seconds later, I can give him a piece of treat. That doesn't mean he's neurotic or unpredictable. The behavior is actually extremely predictable. As soon as you touch his head, as soon as you touch his face, his muzzle, any equipment he has on, he has a problem with that. And if you don't back off, he's just gonna keep coming at you. So it's definitely not ideal, but it is a situation where you can predict almost every time the triggers that's going to happen.
That didn't make any sense to me, but but I will agree with the last point of like a lot of aggression cases, right? Especially when you're dealing with dogs that are a little bit more dominant. People come in and they're like, it's an unpredictable behavior, right? It was this random thing that triggered him, you know, and I've never seen that random thing trigger him before or this or that. But if you break down the aggression is coming from the entire relationship imbalance. What winds up happening is even though the exact situation that's going to present itself is not predictable, right? The behavior itself that he will display it at some point over some sort of trigger of you pushing back on him is extremely predictable.
No, leave it. Leave it.
I know it.
Leave it.
Need help answering an urgent question about your pet? Don't waste valuable time searching
Go
to find
away,
a
ads.
Get those ads.
Hey, Fooey! Don't pull him, because he's gonna come right back at you.
Easy. Good. Relax. Hey. Well, it usually goes on easy.
I'm sorry, a truly dominant dog is very rare.
It's not that rare. German Shepherds are bred to be dominant defensive animals, especially well-bred ones. Same with Rottweilers. Same with any of your power breeds. They are, if they are bred correctly, they should be dominant. Because you know why? What are these dogs bred to do? Let's take a Malinois. Let's take a Doberman. Let's take a dog like this who you would use for some sort of protection sport. You would use for some sort of guard dog work, whatever it may be. Do you want a dog for that when somebody comes in and tries to break into your property and that person pushes back on that dog a little bit, the dog's like, oh, okay, I'll be compliant. No, you want a dog that when push comes to shove is going to push back on everybody else. And that's why you'll see, again, in the case like Vinny, right? Who he's great when I'm around, right? He's fine, right? But if some stranger tries to push back on him, he is going to give them a little bit of attitude back.
Yep.
The reason for that is because ultimately when you own a dog like this, we want one that they realize we are more dominant than they are, but they kind of think that they're more dominant than everybody else still.
Yeah.
Right? That's what they're looking for with these dogs.
Rarely do you find a dog that is going to be super aggressive when you try to get them to do something they don't want to do.
It's not true. It's just not true. Like that's the number one trigger with all of these dogs is because people have such again, a lot of this gets back to the culture of what we've created in the dog world and how most people that own dogs like this shouldn't own dogs like this because they don't understand it, because they want the fur baby and they don't want to have to provide rules and structure and all those types of things. Right?
Yeah.
And again, I'm making assumptions on this person. I don't know this person. Obviously, I'm just going off my experience and working with these types of dogs.
Yeah.
Right. But everybody typically, when they come to training, has this relationship imbalance with these dogs where the dog knows that they could push the person around too much.
Yeah.
Right. And when you have these extra dominant dogs that will kind of push back more intensely than others, we look at it in this light, but it's much more normal than you would think.
Yeah.
And the majority of like dominance is that, where they're fine, they're good, they're obedient, but as soon as you try to get them to do something that they don't want to do, they become nasty. A lot of times you see that on more dominant dogs, Rotties, things like that, getting them out of the crate, getting them off the bed. That's where you get the battle. And they're like, no, you're gonna have to fight me for this. It's kind of what you're seeing here.
And again, symptoms of the problem a lot of times, right, with dogs like that, you address these problems as they're puppies. Like, you know what you're getting into when you get the dog in the first place. So you fight all of those little fights when they're this big as opposed to that big. And again, a lot of people don't do that because they're such cute little puppies. They let them do whatever, right? If you're hitting a point where you have a dog that's 2 years old and they've went through maturity and they're acting very dominant and aggressive towards you, and you haven't nipped that in the butt up into that point, you're already 10 steps behind on things.
Yeah.
He definitely has a problem with you doing that. So I want to try to find some triggers and try to find some ways that we can work through them and see how bad it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put another leash on him. Just a slip collar. And I want to see how he does with me doing this. And you're just going to hold him. Because the muzzle's on, at any time that if I feel like he is getting crazy, I'm going to try to fight it out with him. No, because the problem with that is then you're rewarding him for that. So I don't love going to battle with dogs, but sometimes you break through with them. I know he's going to try to battle me, and I want to see if I can battle him to. It sounds so barbaric as far as like dog training methods, because then the whole alpha thing, I'm not trying to be alpha. That's silly. I don't think that's really what I need to do here. I just need to find some.
We're using too much verbiage and stuff like that. Like, you are, right? Like, I don't like throwing around the term alpha or dominant and stuff like that as well, but that's what we're doing. We have to get him to realize that the behavior does not work. And this is almost never, and again, like in Tom's case here, like, I don't think he's saying this either. This is almost never a correction-based issue, right? It's a relationship-based issue, and it simply is he's got to realize it doesn't work, right? Now, we get back to, he was talking about we have to use the catch pole, because if he punches me with the muzzle and my body moves or reacts, that's showing him that it wins. I don't think that's the case, right? I think that he could sit there and punch me all day long, and I could back up an inch, back up an inch, back up an inch, back up an inch. But if ultimately that leash is still in my hand, and the thing he really wants, which is not to move me back an inch, but to make me go away altogether, never happens, it's still going to accomplish the same thing, and you're going to get less fight because that you're not using a catch pole in that case, which is eliminating the flight. A lot of these dogs will punch you, then try to retreat to the end of the leash because they're like, fuck, like, this isn't working. I'm used to this working. What the hell?
Yeah.
Sort of clarity in the situational stuff that he gets into. Because I'm not trying to like pin him to the ground and be like, I'm bigger and badder. That's like silly. I just want him to know that I'm only trying to help him. Yes, because here's the thing is there is a possibility that he has learned that if he does roar, he wins. Yeah.
That's all of it. There's not a possibility. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So if I battle him through that a couple times and say like, that's not gonna happen anymore, and it gets better, then we have something. And in every dog that I work with behavioral cases, which it's the only work I do, I find out a game plan as we talk through it, an investigation, and it's gonna go a couple different ways. I don't know exactly which way it's gonna go, but that's what I'm seeing is he freaks out and nobody's ever battled him. He wins every single time he wins. So I'm not trying to pin him and battle him and choke him and hurt him. I'm just trying to stand my ground and not back off. And it is going to be chaotic and crazy, but as long as he doesn't get that muzzle off, we're good. I'm just gonna try to slip this over. Good boy.
Now let's talk about something else that I've seen a lot with trainers like Tom, right? The dog's got a freaking muzzle on, right? If you're so concerned that your body reacting to the things that he does is going to amplify that behavior, that whole, like, I don't know what the hell that jump back move was.
Yeah.
Right? But like, don't do that, right? The dog is already on a leash, which is attached to a prong collar, which he's not going to be able to get off of.
Yep.
In these types of situations, you invading their space like that, and then right when they snap, going, whoosh. Oh, sorry. Cameras back there. Whoa. Doing that big jump back like that, again, it amplifies these behaviors, right? And I've seen a lot of trainers do this, where they'll do stuff where they're like, oh no, the aggressive dog. Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. Whoa. You know? And like, and what happens is it eggs the dog on. And this is how we do freaking protection training, right? Dogs on a tether. Look at this clip right now. See? Dogs on a tether on a tense leash, and we're going in, and then we show them that they're in control of their behaviors. We get a bite sleeve and we go, hey, right? And then the dog does something, whoa, you know, and they start realizing, whoa, that worked. I got a response out of him when they did that. So they try harder the next time. Then they try harder the next time. And we could do those things with these dogs for the purpose of videos to try to get the rises out of them sometimes.
So give me the leash because I hooked his.
See what I mean? Like, why did you flinch like that when he barked at you? There's no reason for it.
Yeah.
Absolutely no reason.
I see.
Look, do you see what I mean? Did you see that? We're gonna these goddamn ads.
I've lived on the beach most of my
See,
life.
this is the stuff that I don't like about this kind of
is
stuff.
making me take this.
Look, let's do this all again.
As long as he doesn't get that muzzle off, we're good.
So let's watch.
I'm just gonna try to slip this over.
Right. Big jump back. Big jump back.
So give me the leash because I hooked his.
Watch this. Big jump back. Step back.
Can you slip that over?
Yeah, also, do not tell an owner to go grab a leash that's right next to his freaking mouth while he's in an aggressive state of mind. That is how you get a redirected bite, because he's already in an amped up state of mind where he's being challenged, and suddenly, look at this. I'm focused on Josh, right? And then suddenly, get that fucking hand out of my face. That's what happens in these situations, right? And these are the things you should know, and you should be prepared for the safety of everybody involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, she's like, you see this? And see, did you see that?
Yeah,
dude,
went right for it.
Also, fingers. She went in with the fingers. That is how you lose a finger.
Yeah.
That is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And look at this. And the slip lead is wrapped around the muzzle, and he's pulling on it.
Yeah.
You're going to pull the muzzle off of the freaking... Oh, my God.
All right, I'm going to just try to take this off.
Oh, my God. Like, this is just a mess. This is sloppy, bad training is what's happening right now.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I can't. Now he's leaving, right?
Hey, Morgan, you want to go grab me the catch pole?
Did you see that?
Yeah.
That's how you get your fingers
It's in the
bit
back.
off. What are you doing? And why are you sneaking up behind him now?
Yeah.
Dude. I'm serious. I'm getting mad watching this right now.
Yeah.
Because this is stupid. Everything that's happening right now is freaking idiotic.
Release the pressure a little bit. Good.
No.
Nice and relaxed. Good. I'm going to get a catch pole.
You don't need a catch pole. Why are you grabbing the catch? Nothing has happened yet. that requires a catch pole, the only reason why you're grabbing the catch pole is because you failed at your attempt of getting the slippy line. Just grab the fucking leash from her and remove the dog from the owner, because a lot of times as soon as you do that, the behavior will be less intense.
Yeah.
But you're going to make it worse now, and you're going to try to amplify and egg on this freaking behavior more.
Mm-hmm.
It's built for this.
It's
and
built for
then he's
this.
going to argue me, and I'm just going to do this. Yeah, dude, keep freaking out, and he can't get to me.
If you're that scared of working with dogs that are on muzzle in cases like this, one, you shouldn't really be doing this in a one-on-one format, right? Mm-hmm. And two, you probably shouldn't be working with the dog in the first place.
I'm just trying to let him know that he can't win these fights every time. Good. So now you can let go.
Yeah.
There's a good boy.
Why would you say that? Why would you say that? He's not being a good boy right now.
No.
What is he doing?
Good. So I'm just safely, very, very calmly, not, see how pissed he's getting?
We know.
And never do this. Only do this if you know what you're doing.
So don't do it, Tom. Don't do it. Oh, no. And you know the other thing, too? You could hear, like... I don't know. You know, this is the thing. I don't know how much of this is an act of him trying to act like he's all scared and stuff right now, but he sounds terrified working with this dog. He does not sound confident in working through these types of behaviors. No. And you need to be confident working with this stuff. This is insane.
Yeah, do not do this at home.
Do not do this at home.
It's okay, buddy. But I'm just teaching him, like, go ahead, keep growling and whatever. I'm not going anywhere, dude. That's what he's done. Every time he snarls, he wins. He should win. Like, nobody wants to get bit. So what I'm trying to do is find a creative, humane way, safe way, to say, all right, fight me. And then he just boom, 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 and I just stand there. I'm like, you're gonna give up. Good boy.
Also, the other thing with catch pole, you see how awkward he's needing to be with the thing?
Yeah.
It makes you look like a threat to the dog.
Yeah.
Also, if you're using a catch pole and you're having it that loose like that, it's defeating the purpose of having the dog on a catch pole in the first place.
Good boy. He's smart.
Like,
That's
he could
the problem.
slip right out of that.
See how he, like, walked away? He's never lost, ever. Ever. And now he's stressed. Of course he's stressed. His whole life he's been like, not his whole life, I shouldn't say that. Recently in his maturity, this is him. And this is a dog that could potentially bite somebody from this behavior, and we don't want to see that, that's for sure. Good boy. Yeah,
that hard staring and looking over him is something you probably shouldn't be doing as well.
Yeah.
Me win. And the other thing I want to mention is I'm not naive enough to say, like, this is building him up. You're making it worse. No shit. Like, that's the point. Like, he's gotten away with this so many times, and if somebody doesn't do something, somebody's gonna get hurt. So that's why we're going the extra mile, to really see what's up. Hey. Fui. Good boy. Good boy. Just gonna wait for him to look away.
And he still jumped back.
Yeah, I know.
I thought you said he couldn't get a response.
Good boy. So if I move, that's where he focuses.
He was about to say, if I move, it reinforces it. And then he moved.
Yeah.
Why are you backing up so much?
Good boy. See? It's the first time he's lost. Good boy. And what I'm trying to do is try to see if he can lose. Like, I'm trying to see if he's safe or not. Like, can he actually turn off, or is it just neurotic?
You're not going to determine that also in the course of a 45-minute long session, right?
Yeah.
This is the other thing too, right? So like I know per people that know him, obviously, that most of these cases, he does these like one-off single sessions with these dogs with no follow-up to an actual approach past that. It's for the purpose of the video. And it's like, yeah, you just got to kind of do some of this. So just like go do it and everything will be fine. Right. Okay. There's no actual plan to how are you going to train this dog and make this dog safe? How are you going to help this owner understand his behavior enough to get past these issues? Right.
Wow.
Behavior all the time when you tell him he can't do something. Once he loses, he calms down, which before we didn't have that off switch. Good boy. I gave him a little confrontation. No issue there. Good boy.
Don't stick your face in his face.
Good job, big man. So the camera knows what I'm doing. What I'm doing is when he does his growl to try to back me away from what I'm asking him to do, I give him body pressure. I step right in and I say, no. I'm not moving away like you normally have the opportunity to get somebody to do. And it's helping for sure. I just don't know how long it's going to take. What's up, man? Good. It's a good session for you to watch. Good boy. So I just want to be clear about what I'm doing with the catch pole. Is it's just hooked on him. It's not choking him or anything. And when he growls, I lean in like this. And I'm not using the pole to push and pull him around or poke him or anything like that. I'm just using it to step in, and I'm using this as my safety. If he does react at my face, I step back. Good boy, big man. Much better. Good boy. So I'm gonna go in again and mess with his equipment and see what happens. Good boy. So build, but not where it was, right?
Question.
Man,
would you build a website for a major brand with more than 200 million?
That's how you rake in that YouTube.
I guess so.
It's a mental game. Because the reality is I want to look to the other side of people watching this in the future of you have to really know what you're doing to do this type of work. And what I'm doing is, the reality is if I did this and I had him come over to me, he's going to be fine with me. So it's not like I'm building him to attack me or I'm building him to have a problem with me. That's not the case at all.
I made a Ella made a video the other day that she posted out of a clip from a vlog where I was working with a dog that had a little bit of a bite record on people and stuff. And I was discussing when you're interacting with new dogs, right? Here's the thing. We need to establish some respect out of this dog. We need to get the dog to be compliant with us, this, that, right? But initially, my goal is to get the dog used to working with me, right? And to use as little conflict as possible to start to bridge that gap and then little by little layer in the pressure into things, right? And I discussed in it, anytime I'm dealing with a dog that's insecure, that's how I interact with them. I make them come to me. And the reason why they're okay with it in those situations is two reasons. One, because I immediately get them to a slightly more submissive state of mind by making them do something, right? I'm making them initiate that first contact, right? And two, I'm not doing this ridiculously stupid, intrusive, towering over them and smothering into their space and stuff like that, because that's where 99% of dog bites happen, right? And I understand as a trainer, I should be able to do different things to a dog. I should be able to push that boundary, and I should be able to obtain enough respect out of them to do some of those types of things, but not right off the rip, because here's the thing. You haven't even started training the dog yet, right?
Yeah.
You haven't put the dog in any situations where you need to get them to do something that they don't want to do yet, aside from just literally hold the leash. Like, you still aren't even holding the leash in these situations, right? So how about we reduce conflict and we get the dog used to working with us first so we could start working through those things, as opposed to every single thing that he's doing in this video is something that is going to escalate and amp up the behavior.
He's fine with me. He doesn't care. The problem is when he's...
It's kind of like the mentality of like saying, you know, well, ultimately, you know, everybody should just be able to come up and just invade your dog's space like that, right? Because your dog doesn't like it. We have to do that, and we have to get them past it, which is a poor mentality, right? It's my job to make sure that things like that aren't constantly happening, so he's not always in that defensive state of mind.
Yeah.
And then I fight the important fights with the dog.
I'm messing with me, and he's...
It's like right now. It's just, you know, I'm rolling right now, right? That's like Vinny, right? If I were to try to pick him up and like go like carry him and throw him around like a baby right now and stuff like that, he'd probably try to fucking bite me. Right? Not like murder me, like, you know what I mean?
No.
But he wouldn't like it, and he would tell me that he doesn't like it. And here's the thing, when you're working with these dominant dogs, that doesn't ever completely go away.
No.
Right? You learn what the important fights to work through are with that dog, as opposed to try to address every single trigger that may present itself.
Yeah.
Because again, the goal is not to fix the behavior. The goal is to help the owner understand the dog better, to know where and when they need to fight these behaviors.
doing this, and he's like, back off, dude. I'm like, no. And then you get submission, right? Huge difference. And I think I want to just clarify for that, because if you watch this video in the future, like...
Look at that. He tried to pet him for half a second. He's like, oh, yeah, this dog just submitted to me. He literally just said that. This dog just submitted to me. And then he goes to pet the dog, and the back of the dog is like, get the fuck away from me. And he's like, oh,
just
wait.
wants me to move.
I shouldn't do that.
I'm not moving.
But you did move. You went to pet him. He wanted you to move, so you stopped petting him.
It's nothing to be messed with, for sure. It's not to be taken lightly, but I just want to clarify that I'm not getting him to do things he doesn't want to do and pushing him with this. This is a safety thing that if he comes after me, I can just push him away and more or less win the situation.
He hasn't done anything.
Right there.
You haven't done anything
extreme
yet.
mental battle.
We're already 14 minutes in this video. You haven't done anything.
Yeah.
Where he was just like, because he's waiting like, dude, what are you doing? You're not looking away yet? Like, nah, it's not going to work this time. But, so I want to just...
You didn't do anything. You said the dog submitted to you.
Yeah.
You pet him. He growled at you. You stopped petting him, and then you said, no, you know, he wants me to look away from him, so I'm just not going to...
I want to go through the evaluation in a temperament way that if...
In a temperament way.
It doesn't matter. I'm going to like slow it down for him a little bit. So yes, he's pissed off. Yes, he's stressed. Yes, he's mad. Yes, it's negative for him. But I think it's the step in the right direction, because I'll show you a temperament test that if I take this off, good. And
he didn't hold the leash when he went to take it.
No.
What are you doing?
And I don't...
These are just rookie mistakes. Rookie mistakes. Our job is to make the session go as smooth as possible, you know, and to actually have something productive come from it. And nothing is happening smoothly in this video.
No.
And yeah, he's like, screw this thing. Come here, buddy. Good boy. Good boy. Come here, Scott.
The leash
Come
is
here.
under his leg.
Good boy. Good job. Good job. Good.
I'm really excited to see what he thinks a temperament test is.
Good. Shush. Come here, Scott. Good boy.
Why do you keep
Good
dropping
boy.
the leash?
Sit.
Stop.
Good boy. Good.
Yeah, you said calling him over to you and giving you treats, he would be fine with, right?
Yeah.
But at the beginning, you're like, you know, he's so environmentally better by the end of it that he allows me to give him a treat. You said that was never the problem to begin with.
Yeah.
But people are going to look at this and they're going to see all the growling, and then they're going to see the dog sitting for a cookie and think, oh, he's fixed.
So, Adam, you got this, right? Okay, cool. So, this is a temperament test just to show people out there that are going to be viewing this, and to show you, of course, that...
He's like, yeah, the main goal is just to show YouTube, though, not you.
I'm not creating a conflict between him and I long term. It's just at that time. See, he has a big issue with when he says, that's it. Like, you're not, because then I could turn around, Scott, sit, good boy, feed him food. And he's like, yeah, sure, I'm cool with you as long as you don't tell me what to do. That's a truly dominant dog. You just have to play management.
You said that.
You have to be really careful with him.
Is he about to just tell her? Yeah, I mean, it's just, yeah, he's a dominant dog. Yeah. So just, just manage it. It's fine. Just manage it.
You're not going to see any issues as long as you manage the situation.
Yeah, as long as you just don't tell him what to do. Josh, as long as you just don't tell your dog what to do, it'll be fine. It'll be okay. Just let him let him do whatever he wants to do, and it's just not a big deal.
Sounds like the worst thing ever.
You teach people and you educate yourself on this is what you got.
Educate yourself on it. You're Mr. America's Canine Educator. You should be educating her on these things.
Because other than that, come here, buddy.
How are you going to manage it? Tell her how.
Here's my big man.
Adds in 2, 1.
She's coming up here to live this lifestyle with me now. It's a big step.
Here we go. The toilet is right next to.
Here's my good boy. Look. Right?
Look, he's
now,
fine. Look,
here's what you don't want to see. You don't want to see me doing this, and we're fine, and then him turn. He's always has a trigger. Always. And that's what temperament tests are about, to really figure out, hey, is he going to just randomly do something? I don't think so. I think if you push him, and you push him, and you push him, and you find his trigger, if I were to touch his muzzle right now.
Now, I don't do formal temperament tests because it's kind of like a shelter thing that's done a lot, and they want to assess different dogs and stuff like that. And I think there's some benefit to seeing where the dog is currently at with things.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, that's not what a temperament test is. A temperament test, typically speaking, is going to take the dog through a list of 6 or 7 different possible triggers you may see with a dog.
Yeah.
How do they respond when you start, displaying different types of emotions? How do they handle when you touch them on the ears? How do they handle when you touch them on the neck? About the paws? How do they do seeing other dogs? How do they do interacting with other dogs, et cetera, et cetera? So you can get an overall opinion on where the dog is. A temperament test is not just see if he does something and just see if it's random or not.
Yeah.
And you don't want to see that he's fine and then he turns, So that's a temperament test.
Yeah.
He would hate me because he doesn't want to be told what to do. And again, that's a truly dominant dog.
And he keeps saying the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
Nothing new.
It's a lot of fluff.
Mouth.
That is very rare. Very rare. Usually you get neurotic cases where the dog we're sitting here like this and he snaps. That's a dangerous dog. That's a problem. I'm not seeing that here. I know that if I do something he doesn't want to do, he's going to fight me. His fighting is like fighting an MMA fighter versus our normal dog would be like a preschooler.
You fighting preschoolers?
What? That was a horrible analogy. Horrible.
Okay, also, so he has the leash in his hand. He removed the dog from the owner, and he's no longer putting any pressure on the dog, right? So what I'm getting at is, had you started with grabbing the leash, walking over to that chair and sitting down, I guarantee you, listen, I'm not going to guarantee something here because I don't know. I don't want to catch any flack for this, right? But I would put a lot of money on, because I've done this so many times with dogs like this. You grab that leash, you walk away, you go sit on a chair and just chill with the dog for a little bit. You would have accomplished exactly this while avoiding all of the rest of it. None of the rest of it would have happened.
You know what I mean? So when he wants to fight, it's on. And you're going to get a hurricane. That's the only unfortunate part. Go boy.
So what do you do about it, Tom? Tell us how to help
Come here, go boy.
the lady.
Cool. What time is it? All right, we're out of time.
We're done.
What is it?
Oh, we're out of time?
Okay. So we're out of time. So I want to continue to work with him. But now we are more zoned in on what we're dealing with. And I knew calling the shots of it's going to go one way or the other. And as soon as he disengaged, he went from crazy Cujo to fine.
Because you stopped.
It's just how he wears it. It's a scary thing because of how he wears it. It doesn't mean he won't bite. Any dog can bite. That little puppy in the cage could bite. This fake dog might be able to bite. It's just about when is he going to do that aggressive behavior.
Doing it again?
Leave it.
I thought you fixed it, bro.
So you have to be really careful with him. He's a loaded gun. All dogs are loaded guns, so it's not a necessarily negative thing towards him. It's just he's going to be fine. Again, unless you put him in a situation where he's gonna argue with you. Don't, and that's what we're gonna work on, is try to figure out how we can decrease the argumentative side of him and really work on some of his behavior. So I hope this video is enjoyed by you guys and taken well by you guys. All I'm trying to do here at the Academy is help this dog move forward, and I think this was a huge win for this dog today. Thank you guys so very much for
Dude, that was so
liking this video, of course, subscribing to my channel. I appreciate you guys so very much. Peace.
Oh Jesus, that was embarrassing to watch, actually. Yeah. Mother effer. Oh my God. I just listen again. I told you guys I was going to start off and try to be like non-biased with this and stuff. There are just some things that you watch, right? I don't know, man. It's just that was not good training, right?
No.
All that was that was probably an hour-long session, right? That was like exploitative training. Is that the right word?
Exploitative?
Exploitative training, right? Yeah. All that is let me see how bad I can get this dog to look on camera, and then let me back off at the end and not push the dog anymore so that he looks calm, so that it looks like I have a before and after video.
Yeah, honestly.
That's all that looks like.
I didn't get anything out of that at all.
There's nothing achieved, right? Yeah. Because at the end, you literally you just have to manage it. You just have to manage it. Just don't push his buttons. But he's good with me. But he's not good with me. But he's good with me.
Yeah.
But he's not good with me. So I don't know. I mean, listen, we'll end this video on that. We'll probably watch some more of this guy's videos next time and do maybe a little 3-part series on this.
Yeah.
And just see, because again, I don't want to hate these trainers, I don't want to be oh, they're so horrible and this and that and blah, blah, blah. But the problem is that video doesn't help anybody, right? But that video also got him 3.1 million views. And per the 7 gazillion ads that were in it is probably making him a boatload of money, which clearly tells us the reason for making these videos. The reason for making these videos is not to educate people. The reason for these videos is to make money.
Make money, yeah.
So I don't know. We'll continue talking about this later, obviously. That's video 1 of America's Canine Educator, Upstate Canine Academy, his most viewed video. Don't do a lot of the things in those videos.
Especially
if you guys have any questions on any of it, or you guys want me to break down that video anymore, I'd be happy to do so. I kind of threw in. I mean, there was nothing happened in the video. I mean, literally, it was just a process of him grabbing the leash and taking the dog away from the owner with no training happening whatsoever, and just seeing a bunch of growling and stuff, and ultimately seeing literally absolutely nothing get accomplished. So there's hardly anything to critique aside from the way he took that dog from the owner, seriously put himself and the owner in a dangerous position.
Yeah.
Seriously did. And that's my biggest problem with this, is past just the we're making these videos just to get people to view them and stuff. My problem with it is he kept talking about you shouldn't do this unless you know what you're doing. Yeah. Those things that you just did put people in a potentially very dangerous position. Which means that you probably should not have been doing that in that video.
Is he a balance trainer?
He is. Yeah, he uses e-collars, he uses prong collars and stuff like that.
Okay.
He actually has his own custom e-collar through Dog Trout. Yeah. Oh, all right, listen. Before we roll on this too much, we're gonna stop talking about this real quick.
Stop.
Like I said, that's my opinions on that video. We'll take another one. We'll break it down next time a little bit, and we'll kind of discuss those things a little bit more. Right. But yeah.
Yeah.
I was getting a little heated. I was getting a little angry watching that for a minute. That was that was some shit.
Me not being a trainer, I'm just sitting there watching it. I was like, I'm not learning anything. And even I know in the beginning of that, the dog's muzzled, but now you're going to ask the owner to come from behind and try to pull that leash. You're right. That's how you're going to hurt somebody.
Yeah.
She's lucky, honestly. You get her finger in there, break it.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
So,
well, it'll be even better next time because I'll remember the cord, and then it'll look even better on the YouTube video because we'll have the little video in the corner. So it'll
slick.
Yeah, we're getting slicker every week.
Slick. You know what we should do instead of the little video in the corner? Some of the videos I watch that are reaction videos, they do the split screen, where it's like half of the screen is one video, half of the screen is the other video.
All right.
Because I feel like stuff like this, people need to really see the video better.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and I figure in the longer periods too, I might even just have it and then cut to you or whatever.
I like it.
We'll figure it out, but
Hell yeah.
we're going to make it better.
We're going to make it better for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Again, we're taking recommendations. Send us your videos that you want us to review. We'll talk about them, and we'll kind of go from there with it. Until next time, this was the David the Dog Trainer podcast talking about Upstate Canine Academy and aggressive dog training. German Shepherd attacks dog during aggressive training session for aggressive behavioral modification work with an aggressive dog, and we are doing aggressive training.
Seriously.
All right, guys. See you next time.
See you.